How long does it usually take to get your first sale on Etsy? How would you scale a digital planner business without using Etsy ads? As a newer shop, how do you compete against shops who have thousands of sales? In today's video, I'm going to cover all of these questions plus more. I put out a Q&A over on Instagram, and this is part 2 of that Q&A. You guys asked some great questions, so let's jump into it. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dylan Jaras, and I am an Etsy seller of about 7 years. I've sold over $1.4 million in revenue on the platform, over $1 million in profit. I also sell on Amazon and Shopify, and my entire background is corporate e-commerce. So in today's video, I'm going to be answering all of your Etsy questions. And if you have a question that I have not covered in this video, definitely reach out on Instagram at Dylan Jaras, because now alongside Etsy, I also teach Etsy sellers just like you how to build multi-6-figure level shops. So if you need any help, definitely reach out. So let's get into your questions. How long does it usually take to get your first sale on Etsy? So it took me 2 months to get my first sale on Etsy. By the time I had gotten a sale, I had forgotten that I had a shop. So yeah, that's my story. You know, with some of my students, sometimes it takes a week or less to get their first sale. It really depends on who you're targeting and how strong you launch your listings. Tips on being patient with Etsy. So long-term high revenue businesses take time to build. So people nowadays, they want results in like 90 days. And if it doesn't happen, then they say that venture didn't work for them. But what it really takes to make a ton of money on Etsy is persistence and learning, which can really only happen through the passage of time. And if you want to move faster, then I recommend learning from someone else. Can you run up a sale every 24 hours on Etsy? Yes, you can. You control your pricing, not Etsy. So absolutely, you can definitely do that. Some people will say Etsy doesn't like that, but you can run a sale every 24 hours if you want to, whether it's on the same things, different things, your whole shop, one item, whatever you want. How to scale a digital planner journal business without using Etsy ads. You're going to have your SEO locked in, number one. You also need to be more competitive than the competition that you're sitting side by side in search results. You should also be driving traffic with Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. I recommend targeting only profitable customer segments. And I also recommend that if you are selling digital planners or journals, that you don't just stick with digital planners and journals in your shop. You don't want to just sell all of one type of item. I actually recommend that there are these 7 types of products to sell in your shop. And this isn't like a t-shirt and a mug. This is like the idea of a loss leader. And that's just one example of those 7 types, but they all work together really well to scale both your order number under your shop name along with your revenue. Can you elaborate on using Facebook groups to drive traffic? Many groups have little engagement. Is it worth it? 100% worth it, yes, if you do it right. I mean, you don't want to waste your time doing this the wrong way, but I have a student getting 65% of her traffic with this strategy. This is the only thing that I did when I started on Etsy that got me to $10,000 a month by my 4th month. I wasn't doing Instagram. I wasn't doing anything else. It was all Facebook. When you're searching for these groups, you want to be in groups that have at least, 10 plus posts a week. It will tell you how many posts a week or how many posts a day they have. If you're not seeing that they have at least 10 posts a week or 10 posts a day even, it might be a dead group and it might not be worth your time to join. For a newer shop, how to compete and gain market share versus shops with thousands of sales. So about half of my students who start with me, they start with me when they don't even have a shop established yet, or maybe they have a shop with a couple listings, but that's about half the students I work with. So in order to compete, what you need to do is just create this wild momentum so that your sales are really outpacing theirs. And this is what I call the sprinting phase of your business. So we keep this up for your first maybe 2,000 to 3,000 sales. Maybe it's your first, $20,000 to $30,000, depending on how big you're wanting to go. But there are so many ways to compete with, market leader shops without competing on price. So this is how we gain market share through differentiation and offering a better value proposition. So we are also leveraging what's called the invisible playing field of customer service. And this is how you can have an advantage that your competition doesn't even see. Thoughts on local sales with Square brings up Etsy number of sales, but people can't review. Always take those local sales. It doesn't matter if they can't leave a review, because honestly, driving up your order number under your shop name matters more. Remember, not everyone reads your reviews, but everyone sees that order number under your shop name. How do you get emojis in your sections, descriptions, listings? They won't won't stay for me. I would check what browser you're using, make sure you've run updates on your computer, and really you can just copy and paste an emoji from another listing or from your texts. How do you deal with other sellers trying to copycat your store? Any strategies and tips? Oh yes. Okay. So I've dealt with this from day one, and really some of my best strategies have come out of these situations. The goal here is to crush them, really crush them in every way except for price. So I am extremely competitive, and my favorite lesson that's in my program is called How to Beat the Competition. This is all about owning your market share and being untouchable when people try to copy you. And obviously if people are taking your photos or copying and pasting your descriptions, you can report them and their listings will usually be removed immediately. But the goal is to become successful. The problem with success is that other people notice it and they try to copy it. So a huge part of what I teach is how to be untouchable. And that's really why this is one of my favorite lessons. How many listings would you recommend my store have before I actively market it? Before actively marketing your shop, I would have at least, 5 to 10 listings. The ideal might be 20 listings, but it doesn't even need to be 20 unique products. You could literally make 20 listings out of maybe 2 or 3 unique products. You definitely don't want to wait to market your store until you have a full looking shop, because remember, some of the biggest companies out there, some big Etsy shops, they have 1 product or 2 listings, something like that. What is your Facebook strategy? Okay, that's a big one. So my Facebook strategy is not ads, and it's not asking your friends or family to do anything. The Facebook strategy is something I go really deep into in my program. This is what one of my students is getting 65% of their traffic from right now. It's what got me to $10,000 a month by my 4th month on Etsy. So this is something I teach step by step in my program, but it's not ads and it's not asking friends or family to do anything. It's not a business page. All you need is an account, and it's all within groups. How to research profitable customers and other shopping habits, interests, needs. So you can do this on Etsy actually by looking at your top competitors' reviews, and you can see who is leaving those reviews. Click on their profile, their Etsy profile username, and you can see what those people are also looking at and favoriting. So that is one way to research profitable customers. Go to your main competitor's shop, look at what their most expensive listings are, look at the reviews on those listings. Those people are paying a lot of money for X, Y, or Z, and see what else they're coming to Etsy for. Look at what they're favoriting, what they're shopping for on Etsy. You can also look at people's shopping habits and interests and needs via Instagram. And there's also a newer strategy that I've been talking about to research profitable customers, and it actually involves YouTube and YouTube videos. This is with specific interviews of some wealthy customer segments. Because remember, rich people pay more. So with all of the strategies that I teach, we are very big on customer first, product second, because we want to know whose money we are counting on for our income. How to explain much higher price of customized items, even if the result is similar to air-made in lower price. If you are charging more for customized items, then you really need to highlight the quality and the longevity of the materials, maybe the artistry or the process required, and use your listings to really create a strong value proposition. And that is the elements of your description, your pricing, and your listing photos. It's that total combination. Duplicated listings should be listed in sections as well. Looks messy. You definitely want to be utilizing custom sort, and we are never using the same listing photo for duplicated listings. How to become a market leader when you enter a new market. This is all about the sprinting phase of your business. So it's your pricing strategy, it's your discount strategy, it's how you expand your product mix strategically, and it's really all the ways that you differentiate, not based on price. There are so many ways to compete, not based on price. One is simply offering more options, more or better options. This could be more colors, more sizes, more fonts. And that is just one of probably more than a dozen ways that you can differentiate, not based on price. And that's offering options that your competition doesn't offer. Are digital products better or physical products to sell on Etsy? So it really just depends on how you want to be spending your time when you're building your business, and also how many customers you want to be dealing with. So sometimes with physical products, you can make higher revenue, higher gross margin dollars with fewer customers. So for me, I lean towards a product mix that has some higher ticket items, like $500 plus items, because it's much easier to make over $30,000 in profit per month when you are selling items that have over $300 profit profit per item. So some people would rather just focus on creating listings and doing customer service. And if that's you and you don't really want to spend time doing fulfillment, then maybe digital products are the better way to go for you. But personally, I like putting in a little sweat equity and charging a premium for that. And then I outsource that sweat equity to scale once the orders start pouring in. So that's just my personal preference, but it really depends on what you want for your life and your lifestyle. So what is your Pinterest strategy for driving traffic to your store? Thank you. So the Pinterest strategy is really in module 5 of my program, which is the marathon phase of your business, because Pinterest is the long game. So I do have a video on Pinterest here on this YouTube channel, which I will link right here. But Pinterest is not going to give you a really quick ROI on the time you put into it, but it does really have a nice compounding effect. So the number one key here is consistency. And I recommend just 20 minutes a day of consistently driving traffic via Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest every day. So just check it off the list. I tell you exactly what to post, what to do. It's kind of just like taking out the trash, just get it done. Any tips for art or vintage clothing, as those are not items that can be renewed or sold identical products? Yes. So I would be very, very regular in posting new listings at least on a weekly basis. So versus doing them all at once and then letting them sit, I would be constantly rotating in new inventory because you do not want your product mix to get stale when you are selling one-of-a-kind items. So treat it kind of like a brick and mortar thrift store. You want to become known for always bringing in new things, and that will keep your customers coming back to check out your new product mix. So Instagram, I would say Instagram would be your best friend to kind of develop that cult-like following. It would be really pretty easy to use Instagram for this, and it wouldn't take much time. I would use stories for this. I would also make sure to really stay on top of your sell-through, which is units sold divided by units received times 100. If things are sitting for more than a month, I would definitely repackage them with new marketing and to get them moving and to bump up my sell-through again. Is it normal to have 2 to 3 sales in one day and then none for a few days early on? Yes. Okay. Do not look at the day-to-day sales on Etsy. Do not ride the waves up and down from a day-to-day basis. So we really want to look at a minimum, I would say a 14-day trend. I would recommend more like a 21-day trend or a 30-day trend when we're looking at visits, views, and revenue. Etsy really isn't like day trading. It's really the long game. Do not get caught up in the day-to-day up and down of Etsy stats. 3 things about your new lifestyle that you appreciate most thanks to Etsy. So thanks to Etsy, I really don't have to do things that I don't want to do anymore. So that means, I don't really do any cooking. I don't really do laundry. I don't really have to do any cleaning because I can afford to outsource that because my time's more valuable when I'm putting it into something else. I can also give my kids the best education and the best childcare without really blinking. And it's not a stress to do that. And the last thing that this has done for our lifestyle is really the ability to have that cash flow to funnel into those real estate investments that will build generational wealth for our family. Without Etsy, we would not have the cash flow to be doing that at the pace that we are, at the age that we are. Would you recommend multiple income streams like Amazon, KDP, and ebooks while also at Etsy? If you are selling the same thing on both, then maybe, but I would not be diluting my efforts and focusing on Etsy, Amazon, KDP, and then, selling ebooks on some other channel at the same time. I would focus 100% on making one of those channels successful and getting it rolling before splitting my focus and diluting my efforts to start building another channel. So get really good at one thing before you ever shift focus. How to run multiple Etsy shops successfully. Okay, it's really about getting one rolling at max performance before opening another shop. And you really want to do that instead of, starting 3 different shops from ground zero and trying to grow them all at the same time. Running multiple businesses at the same time when those businesses are all at the same stage of growth is really hard. I actually think that's kind of a terrible idea. So I recommend getting one up and running at, max performance 100%, get it rolling, and then start the next one, but not doing a bunch of businesses starting from zero at the same time. Do you have payment options for your course? Yes, I do. I have payment options. I am able to offer monthly payments to make that a low monthly amount that is really feasible for you, and you can always pay it off early. Can a product used as variation in multiple listings? Yes, you can definitely have a product as a variation in multiple listings. So you could have one listing where the product is alone, one listing where it's within a bundle, things like that. If you have any questions that I did not cover in today's video, definitely reach out to me on Instagram at Dylan Jarrus. I'd love to chat with you more. And if you're looking for one-on-one help, definitely feel free to reach out. I do still have some spots open in my program, Multi-Six-Figure Etsy blueprint, and I'd be happy to send you just some information on that, the pricing, everything like that. If you like this video, please subscribe. It encourages me to keep making more videos, and I'll see you in my next one.